Well folks, it's been a while since I've posted something up onto YouTube and it's such a beautiful afternoon here. Just had a nice little shower of rain. I just wanted to take you on a little personal tour of my veg patch, a place I hold very dear, just to show you some of the abundance of the stuff that's growing here at the moment. I mean, have a look at that. We've got some lovely strawberries. I do really like the look of this one. I think I'll just get in that and pick that one now. Can't wait for that. But have a look over here. I've got some glorious parsley. I've gone for some curled leaf parsley. I usually like the flat leaf stuff, the Italian stuff, but this is the best for making tabbouleh, so I've grown that. We've had a marvellous crop of rocket, and despite it going to flower, there's still plenty of leaves here to pick, which are just glorious. There we go, there's my hand. Some lettuce. I've got so much lettuce, I mean, giving it away, and can't give enough of it away. All sorts of onions. Got some beautiful dill coming on here. This looks absolutely glorious. Now, I planted some tomatoes here in this little bit of a frame. You can see it there. I built a bit of a bamboo frame around that just to support the plants. I've got some heritage varieties here, so I'm looking forward to them coming on this spring, and it is springtime here. Important crop in my spring garden are these zucchinis. You can see got some young female flowers just starting to open up there. As I said, loads and loads of lettuces. And just tucked away in here behind the zucchini plants are these little beans just popping their heads up now out of the soil, and they are going to climb up these glorious little bamboo frames. I've had them for years. They're still living on, but that'll be a great little support for those beans as they grow. Of course, some chives growing at the front wall here. Now, this has been fantastic this year. I've had incredible returns from these silver beet. Absolutely glorious. Now, I usually prefer to grow English spinach, but I got in a bit late this year in the winter, so I went for the good old reliable silver beet instead, and that's just been pumping along because look at this soil, folks. It's just magic. There's some little beetroots there. They look like they need thinning. Am I going to thin them out? No, I probably wouldn't bother, because as you'll find out a little bit later on my little tour here today, folks, they do still grow to a decent size, and you can thin them out later when you've got something to harvest. Some coriander, you can see it's already going to seed, but there's still plenty of stuff to harvest. You can use this sort of gear here, no problem at all, to flavour all sorts of dishes. Over here, oh, got some radishes. They just went in about 3 weeks ago, and you can see with this one here already, they're starting to form little babies, and another 2 weeks or so they'll be ready to harvest. You don't want them to go for too long. And these here, little pak choi. Now, when I plant them, I just throw down some compost and toss over some seed, and they start coming up everywhere. And the great thing about it is that once they get to a reasonable size, these need another week or so, these are only 3 weeks old too, you can thin them out, and you've got these lovely little micro veg, they like to call it in the business, which you'd normally pay a lot of money for, just to toss straight into a wok, and they're absolutely sweet and delicious. I've got my first basil in because it is springtime. They like the heat, so that'll grow beautifully over summer. I only really need one plant. And some eggplants or aubergine, depending on where you come from. You can see I've got them in these pots. Now, these are 250ml pots, and where I live in the summer we get some very, very heavy rainfall, and these are very sensitive to root rot, so I cut the bottom out of some pots and just given them the extra little bit of drainage. You can see I've got raised beds, but sometimes it's just not enough, so that just gives them a little bit extra, and I found that really helped them through last year. Leeks. I do love my leeks, and at $3 a pop in the stores, you'll want to be growing them yourself, because way too expensive to buy. Have a look at that cheeky little snail. It'll have to go somewhere else. Over here, as you can see, look, There you go, there's some little beetroots there, and I didn't thin these out, but they can be thinned out now. There's some, oh, get out of the way. They're ready to harvest, they'll be fine. Loads more lettuces. All this lovely flat leaf parsley over here, which has been amazing. You can see that's starting to go to seed, and I will keep some of the seed for next year's crop, but plenty of this beautiful flat leaf parsley. I use that in juice, making juices. It's absolutely delicious. And loads of kale, Cavolo Nero, beautiful kale. I've been juicing that as well and making absolutely beautiful kale tarts with that. That is a winner of a crop. I mean, I've been harvesting from this for months and months now. And broccoli, and this is what I want to tell you about broccoli. It's just coming to the end now because it's a winter crop here in Australia. Once you've taken out that little central piece in the middle, you just get loads and loads of these little florets, and you can see I've got heaps of them. I've been harvesting these every day and giving them away to the neighbours. They're loving me for it, and this is a good thing. I've started to, or finally have set up the espalier for my citrus. As you can see, the wires are in, and I'm starting to train up those branches. They've been flowering, so we're just getting ready, set up here for next year's crop. There's little orange coming along there. I've got lemonade plant there. There's a mandarin. There's a second type of mandarin growing over here, and another orange variety as well. It's all been espaliered along this fence line because I don't have a lot of room. So it just proves that you can, you know, have your fruit too. But down here, I've been growing some of my herbs in pots this year because, you know, as I said, lots of rainfall. Some of these Mediterranean herbs, particularly things like sage and thyme, when we get big, hot, humid, wet summers here in northern New South Wales, they just die off. So the pots are the go. Some more parsley and some mint, because crikey, if you don't keep the mint under control, it will take over your garden. Look at that glorious mint. And down there, and here's a little experiment. I've got some watercress, which I've just got in a pot and sitting in a bucket. I just give that a flush out every so often. These are absolutely delicious little things to have in salads. Just as a fine little thing, folks, on the tour, before I say farewell, I've got to take you over to my beloved little compost heap and have a look at that. I've got a bin here absolutely full of compost, and you know, I've got loads and loads of compost here to get me through for the next couple of months. Life is good. So there you go, folks. That's a little tour of my spring garden. Thanks for joining me, and until I see you next time, get into your garden.